Paul, I know sometimes you met some of the great athletes to play different sports, and when you think about what drives them, and in your book, The Way of the Champion, you find different ways that push guys, that the determination, the will.
Yeah.
When you meet certain people, what do you ask of them? What do you ask in terms of what drives them, what pushes them? How do you incorporate it in what you've been able to do?
I try to ask them what their relationship is with winning and losing and how they handle failure. You know, a lot of times we sit with athletes or any successful leader in any industry and ask them about their successes. It's really hard to talk about where you screwed up and the mistakes you've made. A lot of people aren't willing to go there. But the truth is the greats lose a lot. Bill Belichick is the second most losingest coach in NFL history, and he has 8 Super Bowls.
Right.
Cy Young blew the most saves. Marty Brodeur gave up the most goals in the NHL, right? Metallica had flops. Vincent van Gogh never sold a painting while he was alive. Like, the idea that the best just win all the time, it's actually the opposite. They can endure loss better than most, and they have this level of resilience. And so I think, you know, understanding that it was part of how I approached this book. And then, you know, look, here's the thing. There's no blueprint for winning. It's different for most athletes. And I'll give you an example. The 2 greatest footballers of all time are Pele and Tom Brady. And Pele won 3 World Cups, Tom Brady 7 Super Bowls. Before a match, Pele would lay on his bench, put a cold towel over his eyes, meditate. And he would try to lower his heart rate and think about being skillful with the ball on his foot. Tom Brady used anger. He wanted to be pissed off. He believed that heightened sense of emotion was going to help him execute. 2 polar opposites, 2 of the best ever. So it's sort of like finding your way based on others' experiences.
But you have a love for the game too, though.
Yeah. Oh, you have to. If you don't have a passion, like I listened to Wayne Gretzky talk about practice. He was like, I didn't practice. I didn't practice.
Right.
I loved playing hockey so much. It was what I wanted to do. If you're an athlete out there that's being told you have to get extra shots up or get against the wall, you're not going to hit the level of potential that might be destined for someone else that is in love with what they do. And I tell young kids that today too. If your coach is out there making sure that you're hitting the wall after practice and spending extra time, it's probably not going to be a thing. When you see athletes doing it on their own, that's when you realize they have something.
You know, one thing I've always asked authors when they're writing a book, you sit back and you kind of open up old memories. Yeah. Because you're trying to jog down like, oh, I remember that moment. And you start to relive those moments. Was there a moment in writing this that comes back to mind, whether it was high school, college, in your pro career, or even in your career after retiring? Was there a moment in writing this book that you says, man, I can't believe I actually accomplished that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been a few times where I've stopped and thought to myself, wow, even if you're not looking to publish something, writing, sitting down, being quiet and writing about, you know, what you're going through and what others have experienced is a very conscious practice. And with that consciousness, you're able to pick up on things that you would have otherwise not noticed. So to your point, it's an astute comment, is that when I looked at the history of the greats losing a lot, I looked at myself as like, man, I've had some really bad seasons and I've lost championship games. Yeah. I've been, you know, down in the gutter with my play. And if you look back at those moments, usually the following season, I had my best.
Right.
And it's sort of like back against the wall and testing yourself and seeing what you can come up with. So those were probably some of my personal experiences that I was able to pair with a lot of these greats.
You know, for me, I played in the NFL for 8 years.
Yeah.
I had 6 head coaches.
Wow.
I never had a winning season. Close I came was like 8-8.
Yeah.
So there's emotions that you draw in there of, why do I play this game? What is the passion? Because there's always that tunnel, and you know what's at the end of that tunnel. because you see the light. Where's a championship, a division, whatever it may be. I always saw the light. I just never got to it. So what drove me? I had to find ways to drive me. And you mentioned Bill Belichick, who's been definitely influential to you. He wrote a foreword in your book. Your relationship with him, and in just talking sports in general, we think about football, but I think he's also one of the great minds of just sports and competition, and how to dig deeper than just the analytics or the X's and O's.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was lined up with other NFL GMs trying to get Coach Belichick to come over and coach in the PLL.
Let's break some news, Paul.
Seriously.
Have you reached out? Is he going to join you
what is he
guys?
doing?
Well, I've definitely reached out.
Really?
And if he was going to join us, you guys would have heard. But, you know, I think he would be a phenomenal coach in our league. He grew up playing lacrosse, so he's obsessed with it. That's why we sort of connected. He keeps sticks in his office. And he's just an analytical mind. I feel for you. 6 coaches in 8 seasons is really hard.
Yeah.
You know, the number one reason why kids stop playing sports is they're not having fun, and that's tied directly to the coach. That by chance, their local rec team has put into place.
Right.
And so I've been really fortunate to have great coaches, you know, and I study the Nick Sabans of the world and the Greg Popoviches, the Steve Kerrs, the Bill Belichicks. My coach, Dave Petramalo, was fantastic. And you're able to sort of think through the relationship that coaches have, like the love-hate, the player-coach. And that's so critical. I mean, it's really hard. My brother was a captain at Dartmouth for their football team. And this was... He graduated in 2006, so right before the Buddy Tevens era took off and Dartmouth started really winning Ivies, and he had 4 losing seasons.
Yeah.
And it was just a grind, as he describes. But as what we learn in life, both ends of the spectrum are just as valuable. Winning, losing, success, failure, and where you don't really want to be is, I think, like somewhere caught in the middle. So I'm sure what you learned from those 6 different coaches in those seasons have given you this level of strength that you have today.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.